We're back with episode 53 of the Virtuallylost podcast. As always, my name is Robert, and I'm joined by my co-host Julian. How you been, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good. I've been reading the manga that I picked up when we went to Barnes & Noble's.
Which was?
I got the Persona 5 Mementos mission, which is like a side story of Persona, and then A Silent Voice, which I've read, but I just had to get it because it's probably one of my favorite mangas of all time.
Right. And did you pick up the light novel? Oh, wait, no. It was only a manga, right?
Just a manga. Mm-hmm. How about you? I forgot what you picked up exactly.
I picked up Bunny Girl Senpai, actually.
Manga or light novel?
Like, arc. It was a manga.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been actually reading it, which is surprising. I usually don't read them. I feel like I just buy books to collect them to have them on my shelf.
Dude, you were not kidding, though. That manga section expanded.
It expanded, man. It exploded. They're like... I mean, Barnes & Noble, like, how much business are they having nowadays? I mean, if you really think about it, they're like, oh, these weebs want, like, you know, actual, like, manga. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, how many? Yeah, who's really buying books these days? Come on.
Seriously. Weebs, that's it. That's 90%. I expected the whole first floor of that Barnes & Noble near us to be manga at some point.
2025. It's just going to be the whole...
Yeah. It's just
whole
manga.
first floor.
It's just gonna, yeah, that's the whole first floor.
Now, I was actually surprised they also had like a small light novel section. I did not expect to see any light novels in that series, in that spot.
Yeah, it's been steadily growing. It's like expanding like a disease. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where it ends up. It's also like a communal place now. Pretty much at any Barnes & Noble. I feel like it's like a thing too. Like you see it on Reddit where it's like you meet up at the fucking the manga section at the Barnes & Noble. It's like it's a meetup spot for weebs and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true. There were some people just like lurking there reading manga.
Yeah.
Just
lurkers.
place to be. Just lurking.
Our people there. Yeah. Like 20 years from now, it's like you remember those times where we're just life was simple. You're just there at the manga section of the Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, going outside to Barnes & Nobles.
True.
We were gonna record the podcast on the day after that, but then I got a last minute invite to a party. I got invited, so we went to Barnes & Noble's on Friday, and then 4:30 a.m. or like 3 to 4 a.m. that night, I got a text saying, "Hey, you want to go to a castle party tomorrow at 8 p.m." And
what does that necessarily mean? You're going to Hearst?
That's what I was curious about. Also, the thing was, I didn't have this number saved. I assumed I talked to this person on my previous phone, but it was just a random number saying, "Hey, do you want to go to a castle party tomorrow at 8 p.m.?" I was like, "Who is this?" But I said, "Yeah, I'm down." But who is this?
The plug going. It's just the guy. It's like it's the guy. You know.
It's the guy.
It's
but
the plug.
I said, "Yeah, I'd be down to go." But who is this? And they told me who it was. They told me who it was. Like, okay, yeah, they're a graduate, and I decided I'd go. But as soon as I said yes, I go, it hits me every time there's an event. I almost always am so hesitant to go. Like I psych myself out. I'm like, damn, do I just like last minute say, nah, I'm gonna have to pass? But since I knew some people were graduating, or people are graduating like next month, so I was like, this is probably the last time I'll be able to see some of the people who I know in college. And then it was that, and the fact that it was a castle party built into this like fear of missing out. So I dragged myself, and I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. The theme was Crazy Rich Asians because it was a lot of the cultural clubs, and everyone looked good. Everyone dressed up, and it was a genuine castle. It was a lot bigger party than I expected.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yes, I would assume so.
Because it was
interesting.
I think it was around like 350 people, because 250 people like actually Venmo'd for the house, or because it was an Airbnb of a castle, and so 250 people actually Venmo'd, and then there's always the people who don't. And I gotta say, as soon as I got in, because I got in at like 9, I immediately went to the drinks, because I saw there was Pink Whitney and vodka and soju, which I could drink. But there was also Jaeger and tequila. I was like, I gotta get drunk before I do not want to drink. I do not want to drink Jaeger tequila.
Right. Before that's the only thing that's left.
So I was like, I think within like the first 2 hours, I had like 10 shots, and then I just sipped on a Truly for the rest of the night. I was just chilling.
Babysitting it.
Yeah, I just, dude, I cannot get drunk off a Truly because I sip that thing. It took me like the later 2 hours to finish one bottle of a Truly. I just can't drink those things quick.
Is it the carbonation or something?
I don't know. I just typically sip drinks. I don't really ever chug drinks. So like, if it's like a shot and I can like see I have to get through this, throw it back easily. But just Trulies, I'll just sip it. Anything like that. Yeah, sodas too. Most drinks. Like even I think we had a Moscow Mule at the wedding. I forget. But I sipped that thing for the rest of the night, and it just can't drink those things. Like crazy. But I don't know why. The party ended at like 2 or
That's pretty early.
well, it was 8 to 1. 8 to 1.
Oh, 8's pretty early for a start, though. Yeah.
It's because it was out of like outskirts of town, so it wasn't really have to worry about it to become night. You could kind of make noise early. So people started leaving at like 1ish because kind of alcohol's running out and people were lifting and Ubering back. And then like 2 was when the last people left. I fell asleep probably around 3 on a single chair recliner. Most uncomfortable shit in a while.
Yeah. I've been there. So yeah,
it's like that weird sleep where it's like you close your eyes and time passes, but you don't know if you actually slept. Like I woke up at like 5. 100%. I don't know why whenever I drink, I wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m., which is weird because I'm not a morning person, but anytime I drink, I wake up earlier than anyone. I cleaned up a bit and then I just dipped.
That's nice. That's interesting. So it's just like a castle straight up.
Yeah, straight up a castle. Airbnb, I believe it was roughly, I want to guesstimate about like 2,000. I know it was over 1,000 for the Airbnb for sure. But I don't know how much over 1,000. And then the alcohol, which was kind of a lot. Yeah. Good time.
Good times.
I know it was rare for me to drink. That's why it was a good time.
Yeah, no, it is. That's interesting. I wish I could have seen it.
Oh, I saw one of my friends who graduated. Also, didn't expect him to be at the party. Man graduated, and there's some people, I don't know how, but they have been drinking. I've seen them for drinks since freshman year. We've graduated, and they still don't know their alcohol limits. And so this man was blasted drunk, and he starts saying he'll beat me in Smash because this was already like later in the night, and so
he's drunk.
Yeah, he's drunk. There's not too much alcohol left, so I was like, yeah, I'll play you in Smash. Yeah. Waxed him. He's normally good. Waxed him. Right. And then he starts cussing me out as he's like losing, and he needed to be taken outside with a bag because he was full gone.
Yeah.
And then he texted me. He's like, "Did I black out last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, you were gone." Did you hear?
No.
Mob Psycho's game got season 3 announced for October.
I've never seen Mob Psycho.
You haven't seen Mob Psycho?
No, I've never seen it. Or Dude. One Punch Man for that matter. Yeah.
I haven't watched One Punch Man either. Or in entirety.
I've heard good things about Mob Psycho though.
Mob Psycho's really good. Once you get used to the art style, because it's off-putting at first, but once you get used to it, it's so good. So good.
Interesting.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime. I have to go back to watching, like, I've just been on seasonals for a while now. I have to go back to watching. I used to watch like the classics, but I've been lacking.
I'm pretty sure you've watched anime. More classics than I have.
Maybe. I've seen some key ones that you're missing.
Yeah, you're talking that I needed to watch Haruhi.
You still need to watch. I can't believe you haven't watched Haruhi.
Makes sense.
I can't believe it. It's just despicable.
Nah.
Disgraceful.
Dude, that's crazy though, because like when I got into anime, she was like the poster, like character for anime or memes.
Yeah, 100%.
And I just never watched.
I still want to watch Naruto, but it's just so intimidating. It's not as intimidating as One Piece, but man, I just look at that episode count, or it's like I have to look at the this is the actual episode you have to watch, and I'm just like,
yep. It's so tough to watch a show that you need a guide on which episodes to skip versus watch.
I think the only one that I've done that's kind of like that is Monogatari.
Interesting.
But that's more like what order is more of the issue there than necessarily the episode.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
even though some release later, it might be better to watch
Yeah,
them prior.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you finish Monogatari?
Yeah. I have finished up until I finished like three of the shows. Three of the shows. I think I have like a couple of the movies left, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the movies, but most of it I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some friends who are like really into watching Monogatari. There's
Yeah, it's a good show. It's you have to really pay attention is the only problem, and it sucks kind of sometimes with subtitles.
yes,
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention and you have to be able to read those subtitles fast because there are some times when, especially the MC.
I mean, it's because it's full of jokes. It's so the jokes are like really important. Like that's like half of the show is that. I mean, most of it is dialogue. Like those shows aren't known for its like big action pieces. They have them like every once in a while, but it's mostly dialogue. It's mostly dialogue. So it is annoying when you have to watch it as an English speaker, and apparently also you lose half the meaning of like the jokes and stuff because it's specifically like wordplay in Japanese or something. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's still. I mean, you get the gist of it. You get the gist of it for the most part. So it's still worth watching. For sure.
I have some friends who just love that series and will still hype
try out. Because I know it has a manga, right? I think, or a light novel.
There were mangas and light novels at Barnes and Nobles.
Yeah. So I want to maybe see how different the experience is, because it's definitely an experience watching Monogatari. I want to see how different the experience is as a manga rather than an anime.
Into the literature.
I don't know, but I think Monogatari has they did really good casting. All the voice actors are really really good. Yeah.
Dude, I saw something this week also. I'm so sad, or I don't know if I'm ready to read it. They released an epilogue chapter for Quintessential Quintuplets.
No way.
Yeah, they released
the manga.
Yeah, the manga.
Oh.
Because it ended a while back. But they just released the epilogue chapter like this week. And I don't know if I'm ready to reopen those wounds, man. I don't know if I am.
Because your best girl lost.
Well, I can't say that because people know.
Spoilers.
Yeah. But since I already basically said it, yeah, she loses. I'm not ready for it.
Oh wow. I've heard things about some of my favorite shows about. It's tough. It's tough when your favorite loses. It's tough. I've been there.
I've only been there. I've never had my favorite character win in a horror.
Are you serious?
Yes, I've literally. It's a fucking joke between like me and Vince, where my favorite character, regardless of the situation, they could be like, if this was like a greyhound race, they could be like the lead horse, and then they'll just like fumble.
They'll stumble at the last minute.
It's just. They'll lose. I don't know how, but they find new ways to lose every year. And it's sad. Sad as a reader / watcher.
We've all been there. Maybe not as much as you, but we've been.
No, I was taking up residence here, down in the depths.
The depths, the dumpster fires. Speaking of dumpster fires, FIFA.
Yeah, that happened.
I actually think this is a good thing. FIFA's ended its long-running exclusivity deal with EA for their soccer game. I think it's a good thing because, from my understanding, this means that they're open to other companies using their players or the official player names and team names and stuff like that.
I believe so.
I think that's what this means, right?
Yeah, because EA is making.
If so. EA hasn't made a good FIFA game since like 2015.
Yeah.
If somebody else can make a good FIFA game, that's better in my book. Yeah.
Because EA is doing like EA Sports FC, which is going to be like their game going forward. Like it's no longer going to be FIFA 22.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
I'd be surprised if FIFA doesn't continue to like have some involvement in the game industry with how much they make.
Yeah, because I mean, people they adore football games. I think one of the longest running largest player based games was Football Simulator, Football Manager Simulator or some shit.
Was that it was a genuine game?
It's a genuine game. It's a Football Manager, something like that. It's like you just like manage teams, like, and make your like optimal team or whatever. And it's like one of the biggest games, because soccer is one of the biggest games. Football for everybody else is like one of the biggest games in the world. So with the largest fan base, so it makes sense. I think this is just opening up the actual property rights to more better companies than EA. To me is like, we've been asking for that for ages.
Yeah. Now I just need.
Now we just need. Whatever.
Well, we also need 2K. NBA 2K is. It's been bad for years. I feel like the game's been the same since 2013. Tragedy.
I remember the 2K12 is the one that I remember everybody playing.
The last I played was 15. Was when I stopped, and I just.
Does the NBA have an exclusivity deal with 2K?
I don't think so, but I don't think that any game has really any traction in the market. It's sad thing.
Yeah.
And
can you believe 2K used to be Sega? That used to be their
really
sports. Yeah.
Interesting.
There used to be a 2K NFL 2K too. Back on the Dreamcast.
Damn, that's way back then.
That's way back then. Because EA didn't want to make any games for the Dreamcast, so they made their own. Little history lesson with Julian.
Some games that were like amazing on like the GameCube era were the NBA and NFL Street games.
Oh, dude,
NBA
FIFA Street is so.
There's FIFA Street too.
There's FIFA Street. FIFA Street is so good. I have it for the 360.
The Street games were phenomenal.
Good. They were so good. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's a hidden gem right there.
Yeah. NBA Street Volume 2, NFL Street, and I'll take your word for it. Is it the first or is there a second FIFA
I think there's a second, but I really like the first one. I have the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Fun game.
Game.
It reminds me, the FIFA one reminds me of Super Mario Strikers, but with realistic physics and stuff.
Yeah. Those games were always just
I think it's
really
like 3-on-3.
fun. Basketball is 3-on-3 also. Football is actually like a genuine team. But what I will say is those games I remember having phenomenal soundtracks.
Oh, yeah. Dude, FIFA, that's the one thing FIFA's really good at. They have amazing tracks always. Like, my music tastes when I was like, 14, 15 were based on like the FIFA games. I'm not even I played a lot of FIFA back in the day. I was even a degenerate opening packs and stuff like that. But I kept my old ways. I never paid for anything. I just went on I earned my packs or whatever.
Were you lucky?
I was decently lucky, yeah.
You're a pig.
Decently. Not like amazingly. I didn't get like a Messi or something, but
okay.
I was decently lucky, yeah.
You're not a full-blown pig.
Not a full-blown pig, no. And then what was cool about the FIFA games or their system was that you could like trade cards or whatever, or player cards, or like you could trade players on online.
Oh, like
it was like eBay.
Full out trading or not like auctioning?
Yeah, with bids.
Oh, okay,
with bids
auction house style.
Yeah, auction house, yes. So
yeah,
auction house. I don't know if Madden or
NBA has the auction house. There's not like direct trading between players, but it's like auction house. Like you put it up for like a day or two, and then whoever has bid the most, or there's always like a buy now option if like the person wants immediate.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that's always the most fun part to me. I don't actually.
Yeah. I was like,
too much.
Oh, I can afford this if I put this player up. This player, I can make enough money to buy this thing. And it's like doing whole plans and stuff. That was. Although it was probably very exploitative of our wallets. It was very fun. Very fun memories doing that. Very fun memories getting exploited. Loved it.
Never spent a penny. Never spent it.
I never spent anything either, but it was really annoying not spending anything because you had to play like for a full day to get enough for like one pack.
Yeah, you definitely have to put in more work than
you have
most.
to put in hours. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was fun.
Did you see the games that got added this year to the Museum of Play Video Game Hall of Fame?
Oh no, I didn't.
There were 4 games chosen this year: Miss Pac-Man, DDR, Ocarina of Time, and Sid Meier's Civilization.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I mean, this feels like, is this the first time they've been going, or because those seem pretty like
they've been inducting games since like 2015.
Really, and they haven't put Ocarina of Time. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, there's some like games that like the 2015 games were like Pong, original Pac-Man, Doom. I think was one of them early on. But they're starting to get around to like around 2000 release.
Miss Pac-Man is not 2000.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man. I'm surprised it took this long. Miss Pac-Man to me is a lot more enjoyable than normal Pac-Man.
Yes,
but
I agree.
That's when I saw the games that got added, I was trying to think like what games in like 20 years down the line that are released like right now in our years do you think would ever get added to like,
Elden Ring.
Video?
Elden Ring.
You think Elden Ring's going in there?
Elden Ring, 100% Elden Ring's going in there.
Interesting. I'm also curious.
It's like a cultural phenomenon.
That is.
I've heard people at my work playing Elden Ring. That's big for me.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. I know.
Yeah.
But I was wondering how it also goes into effect with games that added, or like we got to a time where there's constant patches after the game's initial release, and how that is going to be compared down the line versus games that didn't have that as an option. Like a lot of games in the GameCube era, stuff like that.
I think it's just an advantage of time. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's how time is. There's advantages you get from being more in the future. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to compare that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would probably compare it to the last version. Interesting question.
I was gonna say, what games what other games you think like Elden Ring within like let's say last 10 years?
I would say maybe something
in a
like
Hall of Fame.
Breath of Wild for sure. 100%. That changed open world games 100%. There's no
that also kind of
I still think right now there's no open world game quite like Breath of the Wild, to be honest with you. The way it
honestly
tells the story. Yeah, I don't know.
It not just open world games too though. Nintendo's like stock as a company was like downward because of Wii U.
Yeah.
And having that like Breath of the Wild on release
for the Switch
was on release for the Switch was very paramount for like that console to sell well initially.
Yeah. I feel like I'm biased to say Smash Melee, but one of the Smash Brothers games. I don't know if it'd be Melee or Ultimate, but
it'd be Melee.
To be in there.
Oh wait, actually you're right. It may be Ultimate because of all the freaking collabs of
that
characters.
Huge, yeah. What's another outside of like Nintendo? I feel like Nintendo just makes fucking good games, man.
You think Earthbound's getting in there?
Earthbound should be there like next year, that was 90s, so that was late 90s. I think that was like 97, 98. I just have to look at my wall over here.
But yeah, I also have
Persona 5.
I knew it.
How long has it been since I said Persona 5?
I was wondering. I was like, he's gonna say Persona 5 at some point, because I was also thinking it. But I'm like, would it be? Normally, what I'm seeing is like a lot. While Ocarina of Time is a different one, I'm mostly seeing like the first iteration of the game. So like it being what some people like can't even say for sure that Persona 5's like the best. There's still gonna be people who say 4 is best, 4 Golden is best. Some at 3 is the best. So I'm wondering on like that end what people say.
It's kind of hard to deny that Persona 5 is the one that's like completely made Persona like mainstream at this point.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
So I mean, those games, however good they are, they didn't break the mainstream quite like Persona 5 did. I don't know. I think Persona 5 was like the.
And then would you say Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal? Because Persona 5 is what brought
Personally,
it to
I
the
like Royal
West,
better.
but Royal's the more polished game.
I think Roy's the better game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%.
I also have the list of the unselected finalists from this year, if that'll help you get an idea.
Okay.
There's Assassin's Creed, Candy Crush Saga, Minesweeper, NBA Jam, Parappa the Rapper, Resident Evil, Rogue, and Words with Friends.
I despise mobile games, but that's me personal. That's a personal.
That's you being a hater.
Assassin's Creed 1 isn't good. It's not good. I've played Assassin's
Creed.
I completed Assassin's Creed 1.
I've played one.
It's not that good.
It's
boring. It's really boring.
It's
Assassin's Creed 2 is like one of the best games ever.
Yeah. I've heard 2 is a lot better.
2.
I couldn't get through 1.
I literally have bought everything in Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's like top 5 around there. It is very good. NBA Jam's also pretty good. It's a very fun arcade style game. Candy Crush, Words with Friends, can eat my ass. Resident Evil. Oh God, man, going back and playing that game is hard.
Oh, you went back and played?
Because it's difficult to play that game control wise, literally, because it has tank controls. Rogue, I've heard good things about. I mean, it's a pretty hard game. It's like the first Rogue. It's procedurally generated, so that's interesting. Minesweeper is actually very relaxing. I think. Yes. I think Minesweeper is very relaxing.
Yeah, Minesweeper is really nice.
Flow. It's a flow game.
Mm-hmm.
Parappa the Rapper. I think that's like a kind of DDR type game as well. It's like a rhythm game. Yeah. Yeah, I think mobile needs to die, but
nah, I can't agree with that. I actually have some mobile games I like.
Okay, maybe I personally don't even like gacha games. I don't get the appeal because the gameplays aren't. I've played very few gacha games with good gameplay, in my opinion. I thought actually Genshin Impact was one of the few that I actually quite kind of liked the gameplay, but it was pretty much because it was copying Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, like, and to even say that one's like a mobile game for gameplay, like
I haven't played it mobile. Does it run okay on mobile?
I don't know, but
it seems like
in my opinion, if I were to have it on mobile, what I would do is just log in for the dailies on mobile and then call it a day. Like if I'm not gonna be home for the day, that'd be it. But I'm a Genshin personal hater.
I've tried to get into gacha, but I just cannot. I've tried to get into what was it?
Arknights.
I tried to get into Arknights.
I'm playing that
for maybe a month. Just couldn't get into it. I think I tried was the Fire Emblem one too.
Yep. Fire Emblem. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name.
I don't think I'd ever tried Fate Go.
Fate Go. I wasn't too keen on the gameplay of Fate Go.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I need a little bit of gameplay there to keep me hooked. I'm not someone who just gets hooked on JPEGs, but that's me personally. I know there's people that are.
I'm gonna be honest.
JPEGs.
For most gacha games, it's actually story. They genuinely have good stories.
Interesting.
Girls Frontline took some time. It's probably one of my favorite stories, but it is a bit more on the sad dramatic side. Arknights, they throw a lot at you at the beginning, so I'm still trying to unravel the circumstances.
Yeah.
So I will get back to you on whether or not I like that story. And
the story I was most interested in was actually the Nier gacha.
Nier Reincarnation's story is really nice. It is individual stories of weapons, all within a environment that we are still trying to figure out like what its existence is. It's actually really fascinating. Then there's games like Puzzle and Dragons that has no real story. It's just, that's an older gacha. That was a gacha I played early high school. But you're speaking of Nier Reincarnation. I was actually, because me being a born individual I was looking at the Square Enix 2022 fiscal reports.
Interesting.
And I was actually fascinated on like some of the stuff that happened between or in the last 3 years. Like specifically the comparisons between last year and this year. Pull them up real quick. I remember looking at them and thinking it was just shock how much. I'm gonna just say the numbers. They're in billions of yen, and I don't know the direct.
Right. That's hard. It's like you have to move the
yeah.
decimal point like 2 times.
Yeah. So from like 2021 to 2022, their MMO sales went up from like 40 mil to 62 mil, and that was almost solely due to the new Final Fantasy 14 DLC. But then their HD game sales actually went down, which are HD games are like the ones on disc or you can like AAA games.
Physical, yeah, AAA games.
So that actually went down from like 96.6 to 87.1. And one of the things that they said, you know how we're talking like recently that they sold some of their studios, was that they were going to try to strengthen. Strengthen that what game series that they do or what IPs they believe are strong and have potential, and then also working on expanding new IPs with new studios. That's why they let go like Tomb Raider and some other game series at sale.
Yeah, hopefully that sounds good.
And then the majority of their money comes from games for phones, gotcha games basically.
Yeah.
130 billion yen.
Yeah. It's rough out there for AAA games, but I don't know. I never see mobile really like overtaking it completely, just because I don't know. There's such a community around. I mean, just look at how much like Elden Ring like took over like the community for a while. Like, if you make a game like Elden Ring, it's like that has that like same kind of like I don't know, attention grabbing quality. It's like you can,
Also, I can list you the games that came out for this fiscal year, and you could probably see why it went down from 96.6 to 87.1. It was the games Outriders, Near Replicant, which while I love is not a, gonna get everyone game.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 7's remake, the upgraded version, so not the one that got released in 2020, it was the upgrade for PS5, so basically a remake of a game that came out a year later. Life is Strange True Colors, Dungeon Encounters, which I've actually never heard of, Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, which while I heard is good, don't hear everyone buying it. Babylon's Fall, which flopped.
Didn't that like fail?
It flopped.
Like, really bad.
Oh, dude.
Right?
On, I believe it was Mother's Day, there was one concurrent player on the game. That was actually a news article I read way back then.
Yeah.
One concurrent player. That's really so sad.
Yeah.
And then Triangle Strategy, which while I love, and I finished it by the way, but we'll talk about that later. And then the last game was Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origins Chaos game.
Which I heard was a ride. I heard that game was a ride, an experience.
None of those games are like getting everyone.
Grabbing.
Yeah.
I think they need to. I think it's finally time for us for the game industry to make new franchises. Well, I think this is the perfect time.
They had a few in there. Babylon's Fall was new. Triangle Strategy was new. And the other and Outriders was new. It's just
I think it's the problem is like Triangle Strategy, while it's really cool, it's also like a niche like old fashioned like with the old pixel art style and stuff like that. I think it's not gonna capture everybody. It's not gonna be something that really goes wide. And
then while I don't know about Dungeon Encounters, I know Outriders and Babylon's Fall were both multiplayer games. What I remember. Like Outriders was similar to like Destiny in terms of how its gameplay was, and then Babylon's Fall was like a dungeon crawler if I remember correctly. But I don't think any of them are like a dedicated single player game like Elden Ring is.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see what some of
I hope that
are.
Elden Ring like shows like those kind of single player games still have a lot of sway in the community. Yeah, that's what I hope. I hope that game shows people that a game doesn't need to be a multiplayer, multiplayer deathmatch game to like get a huge community.
One of the things that was also crazy to me when I was reading it was because of they also posted like how they're doing in other industries, and I forgot that they are in the publication industry and they're in charge of publishing Sono Bistal. I was like, oh shit, Square Enix got a handle on my whole life. My games, my reading.
They're everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. And were there other ventures doing
Yeah.
good?
The other ones are doing fine. Like there were clear improvements in the directions they wanted to go. So it's just something I was looking at. I'll just give a quick rundown since I did say I beat Triangle Strategy. Phenomenal game. Like the ending.
Mechanics, story.
Yeah, like the mechanics. I beat one ending, which I enjoyed the most, and then I watched, or not the one I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed it when I chose it. I still hold true to that decision, and then I watched all the other endings, and they have a good variety in terms of like those decisions branching out into building the story for those like final decisions that really make the game.
Right.
And I'm still happy with what I did. I literally on that last decision, I actually like they always have you save before you make any like real decision.
Right.
And I made the decision, like 5 minutes of like cutscenes go by, or like dialogue and cutscenes go by, and I closed the game because I like regret, like I mentally like, did I make the right decision? So I closed the game so then I could remake that decision, and then I end up going back with that, like continuing with that decision because I'm just like I'm psyching myself out. Let me just like stick with what I believe in, like go with the gut instinct that this is the right decision.
Right.
Yeah, I love those decisions. The decisions.
Yeah,
that game.
it affected you. It had you. It had you feeling. It had you in your feels right there. Man.
Really did, man.
So that's what I love from games. Those are my favorite types of games that make you feel things like that. I'm excited to play it once I have free time. Yeah. Oh, did you see that Unreal Engine 5 test? Dude,
which
crazy.
one?
The train station.
Oh yeah, dude, that shit was that scared me.
Mess with me, dude. That mess with me. Dude, games are so cool. Games are so cool, dude. Games in like 5 years are gonna be insane.
Yeah,
they're gonna be insane. I can't wait for scary games in my late 20s, dude. That's gonna be insane.
Dude, horror games are gonna be too advanced for my taste.
My God.
I'm already scared from like shitty pop-up games. I was playing Dead by Daylight and that scared the hell out of me. And then watching that train station video, if any, like 5 years probably down the line, it's probably gonna be at that level where it's like can be in an interactive game, and I'm not ready for that. None of us are ready for that.
It's gonna be so good, dude. Resident Evil and that kind of environment. You're like in a real mansion, dude. Oh my God. I honestly that it would be like that kind of test or whatever makes me feel like what I imagine people felt like when they saw like 3D graphics for the first time, because that's like that stuff is like mind blowing. I never thought like a game had the possibility of looking like that demo. Like, oh man, that was freaky.
What do you know what the first 3D game was?
Honestly, the first mainstream one was like Mario 64. I think technically it wasn't. It was like Bubsy 3D or something like that.
No,
they were not very good.
Yeah, no one cares about that game.
Yeah, they weren't really good until like Mario 64. That was like you turning the camera. It's like you can see the whole thing. It's like, whoa, shit. But I mean, there was like pseudo 3D stuff like in the SNES, like something like Star Fox, the original one.
Oh
was,
yeah.
Yeah, something like that would be like pseudo 3D. It was honestly probably on the PC or like Quake or something. I don't remember if it was, but Mario 64 was like one of the one everybody like mentions. That was like the first big mainstream one.
I love Mario 64 simply through summoning salt speedrun video.
Dude, I love speedrunning Mario 64. It's one of the only games that I speedrun. It's the movement is so fun in Mario 64, and I just bought like a wireless controller for my N64, and it's so fun because the N64 controller is not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all, in my opinion. But it's such a fun game. The movement is so good. I would say probably the movement of Sunshine is a little bit better, but there's some mechanics in Sunshine that are missing in they're missing in Sunshine that are in 64. Like I don't think there's a long jump in.
Do you know why people hated 64? I mean, not 64, Sunshine so much initially. Like I feel like it got a lot of hate.
I think it was the lack of diversity in the perceived lack of diversity in the environment, because it was all like tropical vacation.
Yeah.
It was the lack of some like movements, like moves, and then I don't really know why else. To me, it's a really good. I love Sunshine. I grew up with Sunshine.
Yeah, I love Sunshine.
That was like my 3D Mario game that I grew up with. I didn't really grow up with 64. I grew up with Sunshine.
Glad you said
the GameCube era was like my childhood. So
I'm glad you said 3D Mario, because like for me, the Mario game on GameCube, Paper Mario, 1,000-Year-Old Door, that one was the shit.
Paper. I never got that game.
You need to.
I don't think I've played the original Mario, Paper Mario, but I haven't played it. 1,000-Year Door. I want to, but it's so expensive. Oh well, no, you can just like emulate it or whatever. But not that I'm condoning that. But
yeah, no, only.
I actually think I do have it like on my Wii or something. No. Oh gosh, I don't even remember now. Now you got me questioning.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard great things of 1,000-Year Door. Yeah.
That game, like that game, along with like
ending, isn't the ending like really crazy, like strangely like scary for a Mario game or something?
Can I tell you? I've never finished.
I think I know what it is. Huh?
I've never finished the game. That's what I was gonna say. I love that game so much, but it's like you and Earthbound. I've played through the first few chapters like multiple times, but actually, unlike you and Earthbound, probably know how Earthbound ends. I have no clue how 1,000-Year-Old Door ends.
It's very weird if I remember correctly.
I'll need to play through it sometime, because like every time I start the game again, it's been years since like I last played it, so I always start from the beginning. And then it's just I get to a certain point and then things come up and I can never finish it. One day I'll get to it and I'll like finish one of the games that I love a lot. That one was such a fun game.
Yeah. It's such a cool I love the Paper Mario series. Before I think it was after Super Paper Mario or whatever, it's just like wasn't the same. The one for the Wii, remember where you could like go from 2D to 3D or whatever?
I don't know. I be honest, I thought it went from the one on, I think it's 64, or is it SNES? Yeah. Which
64.
Is 64, and then it was the GameCube 1,000-Year-Old Door. And I thought the next one was the one that just came out on Switch. I didn't even know there was one on Wii.
There was one on Wii, there was 2 on Wii U.
Oh, well.
It was like Color Splash and Sticker Star.
Well, we don't have to talk about those, I guess.
Yeah, those didn't end up too well. The Super Paper Mario though was pretty good. But it turned it into like this like pseudo platformer type of thing instead of like an old fashioned RPG. It was a little weird.
Interesting. Also need to play Super Mario RPG.
That one's interesting. That one's very interesting. That one is on the SNES.
Yeah,
I've heard great things. I have it.
I have the SNES Mini. I can play it.
Yeah, it's on. Exactly. Yeah. They didn't make a GameCube Mini, dude. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
They're gonna eventually put like the staple games on the Switch.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because they basically have the controller with the Pro controller.
Yeah.
So like,
there's no reason not to.
I just need those games on there. That's all I need.
Do you think we ever get like a Melee remake?
No, ever.
They were gonna make it. You know that, right?
I just can't. I don't think they're ever going to.
They were gonna make it. They were gonna do that instead of instead of Brawl. That's what they were gonna do. But then Sakurai didn't want them to, so he came back onto the project and made Brawl. I think it was Brawl.
Dude, there was a recent project. I forget what game series it was, but they released an alpha version or like a beta version of their game, and it's called Project M. And anytime I hear Project M, I think of
Rip. Rippuccino.
Yep. Cease and desist.
Yeah, cease and desist. It was a good project if I remember correctly, right? I used to just watch gameplay of it. I don't think I ever.
Dan Salvato.
Dan Salvato did programming on it, yeah, for sure. I don't know if he was the only one in that project specifically, but
yeah, I don't think so.
But but it didn't. It wasn't there a thing in Doki Doki or whatever that it was like Project M died for this or something.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was an Easter egg.
That's
I
funny.
remember that. I thought it was funny. Yeah. That's the first time when I connected the dots. I didn't even know that was the case.
I still need to play DDLC Plus.
I haven't finished it. I think I'm done with like Act 1 on it, but I haven't finished the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm done with all the new content though.
Really?
You can unlock the new content pretty quick.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Now we're just talking about.
Yeah, we're kind of gone off a lot of tangents.
And rip to the Bucks, by the way. I'm sorry, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's the thing where like, I'll be honest, it was also the day after the party, so I was a bit out of it. I got home at 6 and I didn't go to sleep after because I got Starbucks and Subway. So by the time the Bucks lost, like they were down in pretty much the whole second half. By the time they lost, I was like asleep already.
Yeah.
And in general, like the last 3 years, the Bucks have a system. The way they play is like they don't make adjustments, especially on defense. They do not make adjustments, and even their offensive system, I am personally not a fan of. So when they lose, it's very frustrating.
Surprise you, yeah.
And I'm not surprised, like, because they've done it for 3 years. It's just last year they won with it. But it's, to me, I don't like how it's played even when they're winning. So, you know, they lost, but I liked how the Celtics played, and I thought they deserved to get past. And the funny thing was, no one talked about the Bucks, though, at the end of the night, because the Suns lost in a historic way the game after. The Mavericks. Because they lost by
because they
lost by like 40.
Didn't Luka go off or something?
Yeah, they lost by like 40 in a game 7 at home.
Damn.
It was disturbing to watch. And
Luka came to play.
Well, it wasn't like Luka came to win, but the thing was like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, like their 3 best players all had like, I think combined, I believe less than Luka, or around the same points as Luka. It was just a horrible performance. And also another thing was they were getting clowned so much their subreddit went to private. So then that got even more flame from Reddit/NBA. Because the thing was, their community on Reddit, like I'm not saying this all for all Suns fans, but their community on Reddit was talking trash so much. Like when playoff seedings were happening, they were like saying, "Oh, we should probably go for this. You know, this team's trying to dodge us." It was just a whole bunch of trash talk, saying like with the intention of them saying like, "We won this. We won the West already." So immediately when they lost, every community came together to hate on them. I know it was beautiful to watch from the sidelines. And, you know, as a Bucks fan, I was just like, well, I guess no one's talking about the Bucks anymore. And that's how it is.
That's how it is. Well, on that funny note, I think that was a good place to end the 53rd episode of the Virtually Lost podcast.
Yep. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.